G'day and welcome to the Thursday Sesh on Celtic Down Under. I'm your host Jared, and joining me is Willie. How you going, Willie?
I'm going all right. I've had better starts to the week, that's for sure, but it's picking up a bit now. Starting to come round a wee bit. Work's improving, so is my mood.
Yeah, we all saw your mood in our group chat, so
Uh,
obviously you guys all out there aren't aware of it. So what we thought is the usual rules with YouTube: can't swear, you can't do anything crazy in the first 5 minutes because they'll demonetize you. So we set this up here. Willie actually sent this through, going we should be playing this just as a bit of a laugh until we get past it, so Willie can unload. So I want to give you, Willie, a chance to talk about the Glasgow Derby, your thoughts on the game, how it all played out. My opinion's pretty obvious from the pot noodle on Monday. I wasn't very happy there, but yeah, so we'll get into that in a second. But until then, Willie, we've kind of got to just sit here for a moment and twiddle our thumbs.
yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, that'll do. Yeah,
Yeah, it
so
was just an
Willie.
there's the thoughts was just anger. That first half performance, I've not seen such an abject performance from a Celtic team over 45 minutes of football in a very long time. It was an absolute horror show from us. From the first whistle, they put the pressure on us, and we just didn't respond to it. We soiled the bed in a big way and handed them the victory. And I was just left so raging with the way we capitulated in that first half. It just left me with a lot of questions in my head and about the team as a general. We'll probably go into them later, but we came back out in the second half and we started to get a bit more cohesive with our passing. We got an early goal, which I said to a friend in another group. I said, if we don't score before the 55 minutes, then you can forget it. This fixture's over. But we got back to 2-2, and it looked like we would be the team that would go on to win it. But then Route One football, to lose a game of football in such schoolboy error. You know, what I mean, my local team, Benelli Thistle, they play in the North of Caledonian Reserve Leagues. That's below like Barora Rangers and Wick Academy and Forest Mechanics and teams like that. If they conceded a goal like that, you'd be raging. But for Glasgow Celtic, a team the size of us to concede a goal like that in the last minutes of the game when you clawed yourself back into it, it's just. It left me fuming. There was no ifs, buts, or maybes about it. I was raging with the result.
Yeah, on that, Willie. So it's like, yeah, to get back in it was good, and we were the better team between us equalising and them scoring as well. So it was frustrating because we were playing the better football. We actually looked like you're looking at going, oh yeah, there's another goal to still come in this, and I'm thinking it's going to come our way, and then to just hoof it and then have, CCV caught in two minds, Alistair Johnson slip over, and then get up and try and recover, and CCV looking still not knowing what's going on. It was just a dog's breakfast. It's probably the easiest way to sum it up. It
Yeah.
was pathetic, basically. So yeah, we need to do better.
Oh, 100%. I mean, like I say, it's just left me a lot of questions in my head. I mean, I don't know if we're going to go into them or not, but are we too reliant on McGregor? The depth of quality in the squad, is it there that we need? I mean, has this fixture lost its importance to the players because we were so far ahead of them? Have they lost that impetus, that will to win this game that we have because we
Let,
know the meaning of this fixture? The players, have they just switched off to that at the moment?
let's do something different here, Willie. You've got questions. I'm normally
Yeah.
the one asking questions. Flip it. Ask me them. I'll answer them, and then we can talk about them.
Well, what do you think? I mean, you look at Callum McGregor. Callum McGregor is the needle that sews that all together in midfield. Now, I looked at that. I saw a lot of space in midfield. The Rangers were playing the box midfield, but I saw a lot of room for someone like Callum McGregor to operate, dictate play. And I just thought, look, we have a team full of leaders, but when Callum McGregor's not on the pitch, that leadership seems to dwindle by the roadside, the wayside. You know what I mean? It just all seemed to disappear on the day. So do you think we're too dependent on Callum McGregor?
I I look at it like I get what you're saying, and I said on Monday, and I'm going to double down on what I said there. Kieran Tierney coming back. is going to be massive for us, because in that scenario, when the guys we always talk about as being our next rung down, if Calmac's not the captain, who's going to be our next captain? It's going to be Alistair Johnson. It's going to be Carter Vickers. We then had Schlupp and Casper with experience of being captains before and all this as well. Yet they were some of our worst players and the biggest offenders in the game. So
Yeah.
I don't think it's as much a Callum McGregor issue. I just think we just had a bunch of guys off form at the same time, and they just, it was like, when you got a full sink and you pull the plug and it starts spiraling like this. Once
Yeah.
Casper mishit a pass, then Alistair Johnson mishits, then CCV does, and it just was getting worse and worse and worse, and we'll just get. I think that's part of it. But like as I said, if we have a Kieran Tierney in there, he knows what it's about. He would have been. Would he have tolerated that, or would he have been blasting people?
I mean, blasting people for sure. But
Exactly. If Jamesy Forrest was on, he's a pretty quiet one, but he knows what it's
yeah,
about. He would have blasted it. If Ralston was on, he wouldn't have tolerated it. So I'm just
no.
saying, like, sometimes you need to have those guys that live and breathe it and get it. But at the same time, I don't think it's a Callum McGregor issue. I think it was a complete structural problem the way when we just played like absolute rubbish. Because even if Calmac was out there, Willie, I'm being completely honest with you. I still think the first half, if all those other guys behind him played the way that they did, Calmac couldn't have covered for all of them. I said on
Yeah.
Monday, like, there was one time of people bagging out Engels, but because he's not in the middle of the park, he's out of position. Where is he? Well, he was over at covering at right back because Johnson was out of position. Then the next play, he's not in the middle because he's covering for Schlupp out of position. Then the next play, we underhit a pass to him when he's there. So you can't really do much if the guys behind you are playing like absolute crap. And realistically, Calmac would have had to do the same things in those scenarios.
See that watching the way that midfield went, I think it's you that responded in the group chat. I thought we should have pushed Sloop up one, took Taylor on, took McCowan off, and maybe solidified the midfield a bit. But they just didn't seem to want that. Like, you know what I mean? They just like, this is our plan. We'll stick to our game plan, and we're not altering. We're not going to deviate from that. And it's just like we need to think outside the box here, because they're actually they're surrendering possession to us. I mean, you look at the possession stats for both halves: 78 to 20 something, like 78-22 or whatever. Like one half, and I think it was 29-71 overall. And it's just like, how can they surrender possession and let us play football? And we have made such a mess of it when we're a possession based team who likes to go forward. It's just like, what is going on here? Like,
Because the
it's just,
majority of our possession, Will, was just passing it back, passing it back, passing it back, going to the other side, get into trouble, pass it back, pass it back. That's what it was. It wasn't really. We had a lot of possession, but we did nothing with it. And
yeah,
I said it, and Shane also said it in their group chat as well. Like I said, bring Taylor on at left back, push Schlupp into the middle. But why don't we? Aren't we like Rogers' first stint at the club? 4-2-3-1. If we're getting overrun and Engels isn't getting enough of the ball because of the middle, put another guy on a six next to him. Whether you put Taylor in the six because he inverts there anyway and keep Schlupp at left back, or put Schlupp in the midfield in the six and you put Taylor there, that could have worked. Just an odd.
could have, yeah.
But I'm not on the big bucks that Brendan is, so he
No,
has his reasons for it, and I'm just some yobbo over here in Australia talking rubbish.
yeah. One of the other questions I've got here is the depth of the squad, the quality in the squad there. But that for me, that's one we're going to come on to later. But has this fixture lost its importance to these players because we're so far ahead of the Rangers in the league? Has it just become another game to them? You know what I mean? They didn't seem to have the fire in their belly that we all had before the game. Like, well, let's get into these fucking hand bastards and fucking sort them out. There didn't seem to be any player out there that had that in them. For me, Maeda, but Maeda played Maeda's game. He just 100 mile an hour in everybody's face. But everyone else just, they doesn't seem to have the desire to win the game, and it just fucking hurts to watch. Like,
Especially for you, watching a 1:30 a.m. kickoff, that would have sucked.
uh,
To get up
listen,
middle of the night to see that sort of absolute rubbish over in you, like, nah. I don't know.
Dan says he woke his house up when he scored the equaliser. I nearly woke this house up in the first half shouting obscenities at the telly because we were so poor.
Yeah. Well, for me, I looked at it as well. Like, I don't know if it's lost its luster. The fixture has lost its luster to the players, right? But I think we kind of took it for granted. It just comes across like, all right, it's just another game. Doesn't matter. We're 16 points ahead or whatever it is. We're so far in front that we'll get out there and we'll play our game. But to me, and then you have the mix up of, I don't know what point during the week Calmac was ruled out, what point during the week Trusty was ruled out, what part during the week Scales was ruled out. So what point during the week did Naroski know he was going to play? Because he did well. But you look at it and go, how disjointed was our full week of training? They had 2.5 days for recovery. They just got out there and played bully boy football. We got out there and didn't look like ourselves. And I don't know what the cause of it is. But you look at it and go, I don't think the fixtures lost its luster, because if you go through our team one by one, every single player pretty much had a reason to want to dig in and give a good performance. And I'm happy to go through that right now, Willie. If we start at the top, Mader at striker, he's trying to make sure that he keeps his spot because he's got Eder clipping at his heels, right? And they're playing a back three, so it's going to be hard for him. Kun has been out of form recently, so he's trying to keep his spot, because if he gets benched, who Mader goes to the left, Jota goes to the right, Eder gets his start. So those two are battling for their spots in that regard. Jota has got something to prove. He's like, okay, I'm back in town, guys. Johnny Big Balls over here. Used to be a big man on campus walking around, and now you look at him, he's coming up to speed and everything, but, it's going to take, he would have been chomping at the bit to get stuck in the Rangers and just, see his name in lights, basically. Then you get to the middle of the park. The last few weeks, when Calmac subbed off early, Engels in the 6 with Luke and Rio in front of him has worked well. So it's an opportunity for Luke to prove that he's a starting level player for Celtic. Get the job done. You can do it during the week against Dundee or, Hearts or whatever, but can you do it on the big stage in a Glasgow derby? So he's got something to prove. Rio's got something to prove because he seems like a luxury player. Half the time Rio runs around the place. If you're playing St Johnson, it's like, what's he doing out there? He's like a big game player in the same way Cham was and Rogic was for us. He turns up in big games, and he did well in the derby, so he had something to play for. Engels, this game was written in the stars for him to come out and absolutely play a blinder. Club record signing, get out there, prove that he can play in the 6, because everyone keeps saying he was a 6 before he came to us. Here's your chance to show it. It didn't happen because he was getting dragged here, there, and everywhere. Then in the back line, CCV, he's got a shocking record as our captain. If you look at his stats, when he's been the captain for the full 90, it's less than impressive. So he's got something to prove. Yes, I'm a good leader. Yes, I don't just, I can win games, big games like this as the captain. Alistair Johnson got something to prove because every time he plays in these derbies, he always gets into some sort of push and shove or whatever. So they're going to be trying to target him. Then you go to the other side, Schlupp's keeping Greg Taylor out. So he needs to prove himself. It's his first chance in a Glasgow derby. Experience it, see what it's like, get out there and play hard. He looked gassed after 20 minutes. He was probably playing the game in his head all day before leading up to it, and that's why he was just done. As I said, Naroski coming in out of the blue, hasn't played 23 minutes all season, Willie.
Yeah.
So he had to prove that he's got a possible career at Celtic. The same way Yang's proved it recently. And then you got Casper and the goalkeeper. Well, he's our goalkeeper. You don't want to be leaking goals in a derby, do you?
No.
So pretty much everyone had a reason to want to play well there. I know some of them are pretty dumb and simple ones, but you got to think, like, why would they not care? It doesn't make sense to me.
Well, aye, but it looked like it at times. It looked like
I know.
they were out there with the carpet slippers on and smoking cigars. We're league champions. It doesn't matter what happens here today, and that's just not how we tackle a Glasgow derby. That's just not on. You can't lose these. For me, we've lost back to back games against them now. It's been what, COVID is the last time that happened. So it's not easy. It's a bitter pill to swallow, but you have to swallow it. But we have to go now. We need to go to Mordor in a couple of weeks' time. I can almost guarantee you that won't be the first fixture after the split. It'll be pushed back a bit now, so it might be 4 or 5 weeks
Third or
away.
fourth.
Yeah, so we have to win that game because it's not just this game that's going to come up. We need to answer to this. We need to go out there and we need to show them pound for pound we are a better team than you. We have better players than you, and we can outplay you. We can outthink you. We can outfox you at every step of the way. And we need to go and show that to them. But it's not. I'm looking at it. You look at it this season. We need to reply, and we need to sort of level up 2 wins apiece in the league, and it's all eachy peachy. But next season comes into this as well because it's back to back games at Mordor now. Because when next season rolls around, the first game in the league will be at Ibrox, and I am almost certain that will be within the first 4 games. Because our friends at the SFA would love for their poster boys, Glasgow Rangers, to be 3 points ahead of us early doors in the league campaign. And, like, they seem to have an Indian sign over us at the moment, and we need to get this sorted. And we need to go out there and we need to give them a good hiding in their own patch in the next fixture and just say, look there, boom, you're not as big as you think you are.
100%, Willie. But I'm going back a little further. While you were talking there, I was having a look. So if we go back to, say, last season, right? And I'm going through the fixtures. Going back, let's go. When do we started last season against them? That's probably a good starting point here. So I'll just keep scrolling. I'm almost there. Cool. So we won 1-0, okay, in the first game against them. Second game against them, it was a 2-1 win for us. The next one against them, 3-3 draw. And then we won 2-1.
Yeah.
And then we get to the Scottish Cup final and we win 1-0. So they were all close. It was one draw, and every other game was 1-goal win.
Yep.
Then you go through this season. First game against them, we did them 3-0 at home. So that looks like we're off on a good start. Then we go through it. We play them last time. We play them, in the League Cup final. 3-3, we win on penalties. So we didn't actually beat them. We drew with them over 120 minutes and beat them on penalties. So we didn't beat them in terms of actually on the pitch. It was a penalty shootout. Then they beat us 3-0 at their place. Then we play them again this time around, and they've beat us 3-2. So realistically, how many goals have they scored against us? The last 3 games against them, they've scored 9 goals.
Can't be
Not good
happening.
enough. You look
No,
at
it's
last
not.
season, they scored 4 goals. I think it was 6 goals against us in every game in 5 games. So, yeah, there's the issue. We've got to tighten up. We've got to get stronger.
Yeah. It's not acceptable. Like the cup final as well. Yeah, we won on penalties, but there was times through that 90 minutes you were just thinking this isn't going to happen for us. And then we went out and I think it was first half, second half sort of thing again, wasn't it? We went out in the second half and blew them away, took it to extra time. So they're showing that they're going to come out early and they're going to try and push the life out of us early in the game and catch us off guard. And it's happened 3 games in a row now. They've gone and done it, So I don't know. I mean, Brendan Rodgers is a great tactician and he's a great thinker and he's a great in-game. He's great at making in-game changes, that little tweaks here and there that sorts things out. But this last 2 games against him, nothing. I mean, it's just like, what's going on here? I mean, there was no reaction to it. I don't know. just
You remember?
it's a bit like I say, it's a bitter pill to swallow. This one.
Yeah. So, yeah, anything else you want to touch on there, Willie, from that? Or should I just wrap up a couple of other things around the game and just get on with it?
Nah, I think we're pretty much covered all we can. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. So, post Derby, there's a couple of issues that I want to see further action taken on. Now, I'm going to be really blank with you here. The Police Scotland kettling some of the Green Brigade and forcing them to miss the game. Now, I don't want to go into the ins and outs of what's happened just yet. I want to let it play out. And the reason for that is we've all seen the Green Brigade's post, right, on what's happened. We've all seen videos. We've all seen some of the statements from Celtic and from other people around the place and different media coverage. Things are all over the place, okay? You've got some people saying some things, you've got others saying others. There's a bit of contradiction there. So I'd rather sit on that for another week or two while it plays out over the international break, see where we come, and then discuss it in a couple of weeks. So I'm just putting that out there now on the pod. Not avoiding it, just pushing it down the road because it's something that I don't want to talk about now. And then something big happens in the meantime that we don't know. And then, you know, next week, because it's International Week, there's not going to be any pods on Monday. So it's easier to just push it to probably next Thursday and then we can discuss everything in totality. So that's the reason for that. Okay. But the one I want to know, Willie, is will we see Vaclav Cherny be reprimanded by the SPFL for squirting water from his bottle on unsuspecting Celtic fans when celebrating the Huns match winner?
No, we won't. Uh, Plain and simple, they won't take any action on Vaclav Journey because they, in situations like this, they bury their head in the sand. They let the clubs deal with it, and they resurface once there's a bit of daylight there that they can just turn around and say, "Oh well, that's all in the past. It's all over and done with." The SFA hate dealing with anything that has to do with disciplining Rangers players, so no, they won't.
Yeah, and that's how I view it as well. I don't think they'll do anything. I think they're a bunch of chicken shits, basically, that won't do anything,
Yeah.
particularly to Rangers or any of their players. However, if that was at Ibrox and one of our guys ran past and squirted water, look at the uproar when Lee Griffiths tied a scarf to the post, for Christ's sake, right? Like,
Yeah.
let's be honest. It's an uproar. They kicked our fans out for ages and everything. Now, you imagine if one of our players ran past and squirted water onto someone in their crowd. There'd be
I,
a pitch
I'm,
invasion.
uh, I'm gonna. I watched. There was on. I was scrolling through TikTok on my Smoko one day, and it was a super scoreboard, and it was a live stream, the video close-ups, and it was a Celtic fan and phoned in about the incident, and you could see Andy Halliday smirking during the clip, and I'm like, "There's the same fucking Andy Halliday who went and decided he was going to start a fight with Scott Brown because Scott Brown went like that as he walked past Rangers fans, and I'm like, this is the guy that's sitting there fucking smirking. What a fucking hypocrite he is, like, you know what I mean? Just like, fucking sort yourself out, man.
This will be one of those things, Willie, that they'll zoom in on. They'll get some good picture. You know, the one with the stream where he's squirting on that bloke, and they'll put
Yeah,
that on mugs and t-shirts and stuff the same way they did with
aye,
Brian Kent punching Bruni and a bunch of other crap that's happened over the years. If that happened at their stadium, there'd be bucky bottles getting thrown at our players. There'd be people jumping onto the pitch trying to go us. It's ridiculous. And if you were out at a pub, okay, let's take us away from a football stadium for a minute. If you were at a pub and someone walked past you and squirted water or threw a glass of water on your face or a beer on you or whatever, that person would expect to get clattered, wouldn't they?
you'd be throwing hands back, wouldn't you?
Exactly. But you can't do that because you're protected. Because if you go on the pitch and do anything, what happens?
Yeah, it's the fan that gets in trouble for it, and it's probably, to be honest, it's probably the fans that are going to get in trouble over all this. Fans will be getting reprimanded, and the chances are Celtic will get a fine for failing to control their supporters.
Yeah.
The Vaclav Cherny could have started a riot there. I mean, who's to say the fans didn't actually come onto the pitch and actually start throwing hands at him? You know what I mean? Because that is the kind of incident you would get a slap for on a pub of that, like you say. So, he's inciting a riot with his actions, but no action will be taken against him because Well, he's Rangers, isn't he? And the SFA Lab Rangers. Like.
Yep, exactly. So we'll watch that place, but I don't see anything happening. If they do anything, it'll be oh, this is a warning. You've got like a 6 month good behaviour. I'll say some bullshit like that. They won't do anything. They won't fine him. They won't rub him
Yeah.
out for anything. Nothing. So yeah, be interesting to see how it plays out. So we'll move on from the game now, and what we'll do, Willie, is I wanna I wanna ask you something, right?
Yeah.
Celtics recruitment staff. What do you think they're doing? Because they look like they've been living a pretty good life so far since Tisdale come in, the old football doctor. Done bugger all the last couple of windows until the last minute. What do you think they've been up to? Because we're being linked with players already, and these signings, I thought they were paper talk. Done a bit of digging. It actually looks legit. Looks like our recruitment staff is actually out there doing shit, trying to pre-plan for the upcoming summer break. So, are you shocked by that?
I'm a wee bit because I don't know any of these rumours that are going around. Like, you're not sharing them in the group chat, mate.
Can't, mate. Can't. So, I've there's the two obvious ones that have been leaked in some of the papers, right? So we'll talk about them. And then we're going to get into the rest of our squad and everything, and that's where I've got to be careful with my words, right? But the two that have been linked, these aren't bullshit, just paper stories. There's some truth to them, right? So Celtic are being linked with French wonder kid Herba Guirassy from Nantes for a fee of around 10 million euro is what they want for him. So 8.4 million pound based on today. The 18-year-old is capable of playing left, right, and through the centre. He's under contract until June 2028. Has played 17 times this season, majority off the bench, and scored 3 goals. Leeds United and the Red Bull teams are also looking at him. So
Sounds
there's
promising.
big props on him. Ideally, I'd be looking at that there going, Kun's been out of form recently. You've got Jota back. Is this someone coming in to challenge not Jota, Kun for that right wing spot? Potentially.
Well, listen, if he can play anywhere across the front, then that puts a rocket under the arse of everyone up in the front three. Not just Kuhn, but you're also putting Jota on notice that your position out here on the left might not be as safe as you think. But then Jota can play on the right. So it
Yeah.
gives you options where you can mix and match everything. And if the guy can play up front as well, it says to Ida, look, mate, you need to start scoring goals because there's somebody here champing at the bit to get in there. So
Yep.
it adds for competition for places, and when you have competitions for places, you bring players' levels up. When players don't have competition around them, they get complacent. Look at Greg Taylor. Greg Taylor goes out there and plays superb football from time to time, and then other times he just switches off and he makes the mistakes, and that's because there's nobody there really challenging him to say, look, I'm waiting for you to make a mistake, and I'm ready to take that place off you. There's
Yep.
nobody there to do that for him. Like, and the more of
I,
that you have in the squad, the better. Like.
I look at this potential signing, Willie, as pretty much guaranteed that Brendan Rodgers is viewing Maida as a striker, as his number one striker, with Ida
Yeah.
as his backup, which means we need to get that extra winger in now to replace Maida out on the left. So if you've got a guy who can play left and can play right and is your main backup to Kun and Jota on the wings, and then if you need to move Maida to a wing, you've always got that as an option too. That gives us a lot of options up front. So I like the sounds of this, and it's good to see that because that's a position I actually thought we would need to strengthen in the off-season, which we'll get into a bit later. Now, off the back of the derby, where we got pushed around and battered, and we've been saying we need another Victor Wanyama type for a long time. Celtic are also being linked with a move for 6'6" defensive midfielder Kalidou Sidibe from Guingamp in France for a fee of approximately £1.7 million. Now, he has come through the PSG Academy, has played 31 games this season, scoring 2 goals, and he's also been linked with a move to Ipswich Town. He's been described as a powerhouse midfield enforcer. Now that's promising. We've been saying we need a proper six for a while, and if you get someone that huge in that role and can actually play football with the ball on the ground as well, I'd be very impressed with that. What are your thoughts there, Willie?
Yeah, definitely centre midfield. After this weekend showing, centre midfield is definitely somewhere, an area that needs to be addressed. And the number six role is one that definitely would be staring me in the face like, you know what I mean. It just at this moment in time, it's just definitely needs looked at. Like,
I look at that going, that's the sort of signing that if Kelmack's playing, if you want to go to a double pivot in the middle with two sixes, you can have Kelmack and Engels. You've also
yeah,
got Bernardo who can play in the six, but at the same time, you bring this guy in, bring him in, have him as a backup as well. So if Kelmack's playing the six and then you want to play, have this guy. So Kelmack plays 3 games. So DB plays 1 game. Is 26 years old. I forgot to put that in there. So he's an experienced mid. Get him. It was 26 or 24. One I can't remember. It's one of those ages. Get him in there and have him basically give Kelmack, do some of Kelmack's running for him so he lasts longer. Great. Because we need that size, that big guy in there. I thought we were getting that by bringing in Oliver Abildgaard when he came in. Didn't happen. This is a replacement for Quan. Let's be honest, he's not going to make it here. So here's your big centre back coming. Defensive mid coming in. So yeah, I like the look of this on paper. Will tick a lot of the boxes for us and what we need. So yeah, let's watch this space. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through the Celtic squad, and we're going to discuss what positions we need to be looked at to target and strengthen early in the summer window. We've already spoken another winger. We need a defensive midfielder. Those two we've already said. We're already strengthening at left back by bringing in Tierney, but we're going to lose Taylor. So are we really strengthening there? Probably not at the moment. So what positions, Willie, just rattle off one at a time, we'll work our way through, you think we're going to need?
they're definitely going to need left back cover because Tierney's injury prone. Whether they make a bid for Schloop full time or not, I don't know. But I definitely think there's going to be another left back going to have to come into the building along with Kieran Tierney.
Yeah, 100%. We need another left back. But what I'm doing is I'm just going through our squad now and I'm just writing down. I'm going to count because the way I want to break it down for us is really simple. Rogers has said he wants a squad of 25 players,
Yeah,
right? So what I'm going to do is, left back definitely needs strengthening. Centre back we need to look at what we're going to do there. Middle of the park definitely. Depends what happens with Rio. Do we need another attacking mid as well? And then do we need a striker or not? So there's a few positions that jump off the page. But what I want to do with the squad is I want to go through it and I'm going to write down here, just mark down how many we're going to have and see how we total up to that 25. Okay, so if I go left back, centre back, right back, and then just bear with me a second, Willie. And then
no worries, mate.
So I've broken the team down: goalkeeper, left back, centre back, right back. So breaking it down to 10 positions: centre mid, attacking mid, defensive mid, right wing, left wing, and striker. So in those 10 positions, we need to get a squad of 25 players. So I want to
Yeah,
go through our current squad and we'll mark down what we're keeping, and then we'll be able to figure out what positions we need to strengthen. Because I
yep,
want to get us, ideally, if we were to bring in Garasi and Sidibe as a defensive midfielder and a winger, I want to get them in ready to go when the window opens. So we get these guys in ready to go because we have Champions League qualifiers next season. I want to
yep.
do our business early as possible. So this is a good sign that it's happening. But let's look at what positions need strengthening. So goalkeeper, Casper,
Stays.
Sinisalo,
Stays.
Bain,
I'll probably need him for
for a quota, right?
the quota in Europe, so he'd probably stay. But you could probably bring Toby Olawemi back in because he'll
That's
be
what I was going to
homegrown.
say. Yep. So
So
realistically, we have three of them.
I think we're covered in that position. Yeah,
Goalkeeper, we're set. We've got three. Defenders, Alistair Johnson,
keep.
Greg Taylor, Gorn,
Sell. Yeah,
but we've got Kieran Tierney coming in, so I'll mark that down as a switch over, just looking at numbers, right?
yeah.
Scales,
Sell.
Trusty,
Keep.
Schlupp. I'm going to leave him for the
Uh,
remote. I'm not going to classify him as ours yet.
yeah. He'll return to his parent club.
Yeah. Naroski,
Sell.
Carter Vickers,
Keep.
Ralston,
Keep, but keep an eye out for a possible upgrade if possible. But it wouldn't be top of the priority list. Yeah, keep. You need him for the quota as well. So,
McCowan,
yeah, we'll keep McCowan around. He's a handy enough player for. I mean, we'll have a big game in Europe somewhere along the line, and legs will be tired, and he's a good player to play against a Ross County, a Dundee, or a Kilmarnock. He can do it at that level, but when it comes to playing in Europe or playing against them, nah, I don't think he's quite at that level. But handy enough player to keep around. Like,
he's playing the bricky role, basically.
yeah,
We need someone to come on as an impact option for a couple of minutes. In a big game, we can do it. If we need someone to play the full 90 domestically, we can do that.
yeah. He also fits that association trained quota.
Yep, sure does. So I'm just quickly marking something off here. So if we go to the next one is Arnie Engels.
Oh, I would like to keep Arnie Engels. I think Arnie Engels is a good player, despite I think he had quite a poor game against Rangers. I know a lot of people. There was a lot of to and fro in the group chat about whether we thought he was good or bad. I didn't think he had the best game, but I still think he's an extremely talented player, and I'm not going to judge him on one game. Like, so
Paolo
keep for me.
Bernardo.
I would keep Bernardo. I actually really like Bernardo. I think Bernardo, as much as we miss Callum McGregor at the weekend, having Bernardo as a third option to come in there, or the fourth option where you have McGregor, Engels, Hattati as your starting three with Bernardo coming in. I think we've missed him over the last 5 weeks that he's been out. So yeah, I would definitely look to keep him.
You want to know the funny thing? I actually see Bernardo in that list where I rattled off earlier of future captains of the club, guys who could do that.
Yeah,
Bernardo's one of that type because he's been a national junior captain. He's captained his clubs at pretty much every level, his team the whole way through. So he's one I look at too.
yeah.
Rio, I have him on the list, but I think he'll be sold.
I would like to keep Rio Hattati, but I have a funny feeling that this indifferent form he's gone into throughout the season, it's got Insham vibes to it. It's got Boyata vibes when he wanted away. His form started going up and down. Yeah, it's got that sort of vibe about it that is coming to its end. It's going to reach a natural conclusion when the season's finished. So I think Rio Tata will be away in the close season, if I'm honest.
Yeah, it's that end of cycle. Most players have a 2 to 3 year cycle at the club these
Yeah,
days. Well, Hatade, I think he's at the end of that cycle, so I think he's going to want to move. Kelmac, obviously, we keep
keep.
him. Jamesy's a winger, but they put him as a midfielder here. So Jamesy,
Well, you would need to keep. You can't sell Jamesy Forrest. He's a one man club. Do you know what I mean? He'll retire before he'll be sold. Like I did say he was just a waste of wage at one point, but since Brendan's come back, he's shown he can be a handy guy to have around. So he's association trained. He meets the homegrown quota for Europe, so it'd probably be better to keep him around for now.
Yeah, I'd be keeping him too, just for the fact that I reckon he's working with Yang in the background.
Uh,
So up front we have Jota,
keep, absolutely keep,
Adamita.
sell.
Oh Jesus! I
He's
want to
not doing
see.
it. He's not cutting the mustard for me. I think we've been 9 million was a big outlay, and I don't think it's working for him. I wouldn't. I think there's better options out there for the money we paid for Adamida, and it's. He does all right in some games, but other games he just doesn't look up for it. I don't know. I just don't. I get this vibe off him that it's maybe a step too far for him at this level.
The thing with Eder is I like the way he plays. I actually like. I can sit there and watch the game and not necessarily watch the ball. See the runs Eder's making. He's got the speed to make runs, like the runs into press. He's got the size. He doesn't mind battering into people. But the thing is, what I want to see from him is, I want to give him one full season with us, with a full preseason. Because when he came in the first time, it was halfway through the season. He
Mm.
played well but he hadn't been. He played well, but he hadn't been playing much. So he was working as that
Yeah,
impact sub. This year, because of the move, and R and here, there, and everywhere, it didn't happen. He didn't get a full preseason. So I want to give him one more season, give him a full preseason, and let's see what we can do with him.
yeah.
That's how I feel about him. I think it's probably one season too soon to give up on him.
Listen, I think he'll be here next season, but I don't know. I think there's enough evidence there to say, look, this might not be the right move for him at this stage of his career, or this might be a level too high for him. I mean, scoring goals in Scotland should be bread and butter stuff for him, and he's not scored as many as I would have hoped he has by this stage of the season. So yeah, I don't know. It's my own opinion on it. Like I say, I think there's something missing from his game that we need, and I just can't put my finger on it at this moment in time.
Yeah, fair enough. So that's one we disagree on. But you said you think he'll be here next season,
I
right?
think he will be here next
And
year. Yes.
I'll mark him down anyway for that, what we're counting up now.
Yeah,
Nicholas Kuhn.
that's a difficult one because if you'd asked me if we had this conversation a month ago, maybe a month and a half ago, I'd have said, "Oh, he'll be sold because he's the next big money sale." But after watching our performance at the weekend, nobody's going to be offering too much money for him more than nobody's going to be offering too much more than what we paid for him. Like after that performances against who is going to be our biggest rivals of the season. You know what I mean? Our biggest game domestically, and he's not. He's shown he went missing. Let's be honest. He went hiding. He hid and he went missing. Like, so he's probably going to be here next season. Yeah.
Yep. So I'll put him down there. Yep. Yang.
We need to make space in this for the 25, don't we? I think he'd be one of the ones that would be sacrificed. As much as he's come on to a game and his form's coming good and that, and he's obviously getting his hole, so he's a happy man and he's playing better football because he's getting his Nat King, right? But I'd probably sell on that.
Yeah, fair enough. I haven't marked him down either. He's one that if he's there, we know he can do a job domestically for us. But
Aye,
for us to progress in Europe, I think he's
yeah,
one that would have to go out for us to bring, say, this young kid that we're looking at,
yeah.
the one Garasi, bring him in. He's going to come straight in over the top of him. So why would you spend 8.5 million on Garasi and then still have Yang kicking around there? You'd probably see you later, next man in. So he'd go Johnny Kenny.
I'd have to sell Johnny Kenny, wouldn't you? I mean, I would like to loan Johnny Kenny out to Kilmarnock or I'd loan him out, right? I'd loan Kenny out
Same as St
to an
Johnson.
FPL team. Yeah, put him St Johnson, someone like that, someone who's going to be in the bottom six, Aberdeen, someone like that. I shouldn't say that; they're actually in the top six, aren't they? Like, but loan him out to somebody who's going to give him SPL experience. Like.
You know what? I'd almost do the same with Yang.
Yeah, maybe.
I'd do that. Like I don't think Yang's got a long-term future with us, but yeah, that loan, just we didn't spend a lot on him. If we don't get our money back on Yang, we're not going to miss 1.5 million or whatever we spent on him. But if you can take points off Rangers in other games and whatever, that makes it better for us for the Champions League qualification and stuff like that, then that pays for itself with the
Yeah,
European money. So you could live with that. Same with Johnny Kenny. So yeah, I'll be
yeah.
I'll look at him. Days
Well,
and Maeda.
with, you got to keep him. You got to break the bank to keep him. Nah, can't sell
So we're
him.
putting him at striker or we putting him at winger.
Striker.
Yeah. So and then who's loaned out? So Toby Oluwayemi. We've got him in goalkeeper already.
Yeah,
Matthew Anderson. I'd like to see him loaned instead of over in Austria. I wouldn't mind seeing him in Scotland, maybe at St Johnson, not St Johnson, or St Mirren or someone like that. I
mm-hmm.
really rate Stephen Robinson as a manager. I think he could do good things developing him. Gustav Lagerbelka, you're selling him.
So
He's having a good season apparently for FC20. So yeah, get some cash there. Stephen Welsh
sell.
is one we normally keep for the domestic quota. And then Montgomery, Quan, Home, Tilio, Palmer, all of them. See you later.
See you later.
Mass
Might
clear out.
keep Palmer just so Robert Gibson can throw his comment in on a weekly basis.
Yeah, fair enough. Totally worth it. So yeah, I'm just looking at that lineup there, going, all right. So if we're going to go through that, we have 1, 2, 3, 4. We have 5 players for the quota. We need 8.
You can promote from the B team, though. I think they
We
did
don't know to
that, did
cover it.
not?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. But then they take spots in your top 25 instead of being in your B list.
Yeah.
So
Um,
realistically, counting it up, we have three goalkeepers, we have 5 defenders, we have 5 attackers, and we have 4 midfielders. So it's at 17. So there's 8 player spots there, Willie, for us to fill. 4
yeah.
of those 8 have to go to Scottish players or association trained.
Well, Lennon Miller, bring him in,
That goes into your
midfielder.
attacking midfield spot that's wide open with Rio leaving. So if you
Yeah.
bring in Lennon Miller, that counts as association trained.
I'm trying
So
to think of anyone else.
I'm just
Scottish
going through.
players out there.
I would bring in at left back. We need another one. I've mentioned him a few times. Aberdeen's Jack McKenzie. He's a big
Yeah.
bastard. He's association trained. So if you bring him in there at left back, and then try and bring in another couple of centre backs and fill
Yeah,
your squad out.
you could like Ryan Porteous. I don't know if he's getting a game at Watford at the moment, but you
Yeah,
could put a cheeky bid in for him. He would do his good cover. You know what I mean? If you're gonna, I would probably sell Scales and then bring him in, and that's you've got your association trained again.
yep. So realistically, like goalkeeper positions full of 3. We'd have 2 left backs if we brought in. So we need to bring in a left back. We need to bring in some centre back, like probably 2 centre backs. So just
Yeah,
working this out, 1 left back, 2 centre backs. We need probably 2 central midfielders, 1 attacking midfielder at least, 1 left winger, and 1 striker. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There you go. There's your 8 players we need. Come on,
yeah,
come on, recruitment team, get it done.
yep.
So we figured it all out. There we go. Not often that happens. We make sense here.
Uh, and don't spend all summer chasing Fisk Garden. We're bored with this one.
Just get it done.
Get it
So what?
done or walk away.
Yeah. So what we'll do, Willie, before we finish off the pod with our final thoughts, I just want to reminder again, international break. So there'll be no weekend review or pop noodle on Monday. Next Celtic Down Under podcast on the channel will be Thursday Sesh next week. Before we go to our final thoughts, one last time for good fun, episode's elevator music. If it would play, it would be good. Yeah, it's not liking me much. The old elevator music at the start doesn't matter. So, final thought, Willie.
Final thought is Celtic, that was fucking pish.
For me, everyone, enjoy your international break. And yeah, hope we come back. Hope Celtic comes back with no injuries out of this break, and the players are actually up and about for the run in to clinch the title. So yeah. Other than that, thanks everyone for tuning in. Hail, hail, and we'll see you in a week's time.
Hail, hail.